Hi, this is Chandrashekhar Prabhu once again. For the first time in the past few months, did we take a gap of about a week. I wanted to wait for a few days in order to give you some good news. The good news, of course, is there, which we are going to give in this post and in the post to come. We've been having meetings with several organizations, and I'm happy to announce that at least 10 NBFCs and housing finance companies have come forward and have written officially to us saying that they are totally willing to take up financing for the self-redevelopment schemes. So that is the biggest good news that I have to tell you, and that was the news, that was the announcement for which I was waiting for the last 3 or 4 days. I knew about it, but I didn't want to talk about it till I was doubly sure. Now one is very sure that the NBFCs are interested, the housing finance companies are interested. There was another news that I wanted to give to all of you, and that was about the nationalized bank. We are closely talking to the officials of the State Bank of India. I must tell you all and take you into confidence that the officials at different levels of the State Bank of India are in close touch with us, and we have been talking to them. We have been replying to all their queries. We have been trying to satisfy all the conditions that they have. We have been explaining to them where we need the funds and how we need the funds and how it is totally safe to lend to cooperative housing societies when it comes to schemes for redevelopment. The State Bank of India has been extremely cooperative, and after discussion with us, they have now written back to Reserve Bank of India asking for some clarification so that they can go ahead with the funding. In the meanwhile, there is going to be a series of meetings with the officials of the State Bank of India. Once the clarification from the Reserve Bank of India comes in, we are going to have detailed discussions with them. We have not stopped with the State Bank of India. We are talking with other banks as well. Nationalized banks, 4 of them, we are in active discussion, and all the 4 nationalized banks seem to be extremely keen on funding our projects, especially through different models of financing which we have discussed with them at great length. We have also started discussions with private banks. The private banks are supposed to be more open. The private banks are supposed to be more understanding, and the private banks are supposed to be more entrepreneurial when it comes to investment and when it comes to lending. And hence we thought that we must speak to the private bank, and we spoke to private banks, and we are in active discussions with them. However, the private banks, the percentage at which they would like to lend, they want an additional percentage or 2. We are discussing the numbers with them, and very soon we shall close with the private banks as well. So the good news generally is that finance companies, banks, NBFCs are all talking to us. Another good news which I wanted to give you was that the foreign direct investment agencies in the Gulf, in Singapore, in America, in Europe, in UK and in Canada, we are in close touch with them. We are speaking to them, and as we are discussing this, as we are making this post, we are making progress with regard to foreign direct investment. If we get foreign direct investment for self-redevelopment schemes, then the percentage at which we can get loans will be very minimal compared to the kind of percentages that are going on today in India. The foreign direct investment may give us a chance to lend at a cheaper price, and we will be able to transfer the benefits to all the members of the cooperative housing society, making the self-redevelopment scheme completely successful and also more beneficial than what was thought earlier. When we come to funding, however, all the financial agencies want us to tell them what would be the cash flow and how would the finance be required. Generally, as the process of the banks is that they fund in after the approval of plan. That means after the IOD or the intimation of approval comes in, it is only after that that they start disbursing the loan, even if they sanction it before that. Some of the banks would like to sanction it only after the approvals are in hand. So, the main question before the cooperative housing societies is, what should we do before the approval? If there are any funds to be incurred, if there is any expenditure to be incurred before the process of approval, before the IOD comes into picture, how should these funds be made available? We did a detailed research and are coming up with a special paper on different kinds of redevelopment schemes and how much money each one of them would require upfront, if at all they require upfront money, and how this upfront money can be raised. So, which are the schemes which require the funding and which of them require a lot of upfront money? We will take them one by one. The societies which are on private lands, that is, the buildings which were bought, where flats were bought by members from builders, and then the members formed a cooperative housing society, and in some cases got the conveyance. In other cases, they did not get the conveyance, but they got the deemed conveyance, and the land is presently in the name of the cooperative housing society. In such cases, there is very little money that you need to spend upfront. Before the IOD, if you apply for zero FSI IOD or you apply for the minimum FSI IOD, then you don't have to buy the TDR either from the market or from the municipal authorities or pay any premiums, because you are applying only for that FSI which is available free of cost for you. That means one FSI is available free of cost for you, 35% fungible is available free of cost for you, 10 meters per family is available free of cost for you. So roughly about 1.5 FSI is available without any expenditure. So what is the money that needs to be spent upfront? The deposit that you have to make towards the scrutiny fee for the municipal corporation, and in some cases they may require certain scrutiny fees to be paid towards the fire brigade, towards if the height issue is there, it's in the airport area, then some money needs to be spent on the survey, the height of the plot from the mean sea level, and for that certain expenditure. all this expenditure put together, in any case, doesn't cost too much. If it's a small society, it would be to the tune of 10 to 15 lakhs of rupees. In a larger society, it may be 25 to 30 lakhs of rupees. So, in case of individual societies on private lands who have conveyance and whose name has been entered on the property card, the initial expenditure is not something which is very difficult for people to raise. But even then, if this money too needs to be raised from the financial agencies, the financial agencies have promised us that they are definitely going to give loans for this funding as well. The second one is the societies on MADA lands. You have to pay premium to MADA, or you have to give space, built space to MADA. If you have to give built space to MADA, then there is no question of paying any upfront amount. If you have to give premium to MADA, then you have to pay certain amount after the offer later comes. However, we have had discussions with MADA, and MADA has agreed very generously that the amount to be paid as premium will be divided into 4 installments, or in some cases they may even consider 5 installments, and only the first installment has to be paid. So, for getting the IOD on MADA, for societies on MADA land, we only have to worry about the first of the 5 installments towards the payment of the premium to MADA, which again is not very little, but it's not too much. If the total premium to be paid to MADA is say 10 crores, then we have to be ready with 1.5 or 2 crores as an upfront amount. On payment of this money, the approvals will come. So for MADA lands, there will be certain upfront amount which the funding agencies are willing to fund. Then we come to societies on government lands. The government lands have been allotted to cooperative housing societies either on occupancy basis or on lease basis.